Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to bring you a brand new buyer's guide for Gran Turismo 7, this time featuring the Audi R18 from 2016, obviously a pretty well-known LMP1 machine. Previously we just covered the Audi R18 TDI from 2011, which, as you'd know, ended up second place on our Laptime leaderboard, and I was kind of curious where this one would come up. I kind of felt like with the kind of hybrid system these have, that they run out of boost very quickly, but I kind of expected it kind of, on par with obviously the current leader, which is the Toyota Hypercar, which came in one of the recent updates to Gran Turismo 7. So if you want to buy this car for yourself, as you can see, it is 1 million from the Audi dealership, 2 million less than the 2011 model, and I believe it does have a pretty substantial bunch more on the performance points side, and obviously it's 2 million less, so much more affordable. So one thing that was kind of weird, kind of as I drive up to the start line, was just kind of how much grip this thing has, even at the low speed corners. If you note, with the 2011 model, in the lower speed corners it was kind of known for being a little bit jerky, and kind of bumping its back end out. Yeah. But through the high-speed corners it was very stable and controllable. With this car, it's a complete opposite. It has a ton of grip no matter what. Obviously I run manual, no assist, and it just did not want to break traction really at all. One thing I would recommend though, I kind of had to do this throughout the lap, was move the brake bias towards the rear. This was because it was a little bit strained on the brakes, but when I adjusted that, the car pretty much settled down, and kept on kept on going. No issues there. So kind of a weird feeling for this car was sort of the speed. When you're on the straights, it doesn't feel very quick. However, I kind of feel like that is just down to the sense of speed in Gran Turismo 7 with some of the cars. Some cars feel insanely quick, others just kind of are very quick but don't feel it, which is weird, like the Hypercar and the 2011 Audi R18. It just felt very quick throughout the whole lap. This one, however, felt kind of a lot more laid back, in kind of the sense of speed you get while driving it. I am personally doing these laps in bonnet view, but yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird, just how different the sense of speed was. I don't know if it was kind of camera placement or what. But another thing to note as well, these cars have obviously the hybrid system, and when you brake it recharges, and obviously when you accelerate it uses it up. It did feel like it was using it very quickly, which I guess in a way it does. And I kind of thought in the back of my head throughout the lap that this thing would be left for dust on the straights, but obviously even with the boost all gone down that massive back straight, it was quite comfortably sat at 190. The main obviously plus point of this car is just the sheer grip. No matter what corner you're at, this thing is just going to cling to the road. Absolutely insane. If you remember the Hypercar and obviously the 2011 model, the TDI, there was kind of a bit of unbalance in the slower corners where they felt that they were kind of breaking a bit of grip, where these obviously this is a more modern up-to-date LMP1 machine before they were phased out for the Hypercars, and these things just have grip for days. There is just no break in that traction. I really did kind of try. I know where I kind of usually expect the cars to break traction now. Obviously doing as many laps as I have around the Nordschleife, I kind of know where usually cars struggle. Just for the guys that don't know, by the way, in case this is your first video you're watching in this kind of series, basically with these cars I have them out of the box, no tuning, no upgrades, just a straight up one lap, hot lap around the Nordschleife to kind of see where they place on a lap time leaderboard. So yeah, with that being said, it was just absolutely insane, the fact that this thing kind of ate up the corners and just took it in its stride, and you'll kind of feel that and see that in the onboard footage later. Definitely the best kind of view to get the sense of speed in this car is that onboard view. It just seems absolutely mental through especially this section here, which I kind of class as like the make or break for a car. If a car can perform well here, then for me it's a very, very good car. And you know, it's the kind of place where some cars can lose a lot of time because it's just string after string of elevation change. You know, some really quick corners, some more lower speed corners, and it's all about, you know, I guess for me, the most technical part of the track. And this car just ate it up and just acted like these corners were nothing. And then obviously you get through the faster section and there was just no stopping this thing. I've kind of driven this car a few times before and sort of overlooked it weirdly. Most of the LMP1 cars are kind of overlooked for like more Group C machines, or the, you know, the Toyota Hypercar, which we now have. But it was kind of like really enjoyable to get these more modern LMP1 machines, you know, give them kind of a chance, and I'm definitely sold on them. No stability issues, just pure speed through the corners, no kind of moments or hairy moments where it kind of feels like the car's going to break away and just throw you. It is just absolutely stable. And obviously, like I said, I mean, I have no traction on or anything like that, and this thing just gripped and gripped and gripped. So for me, another plus point is if you're wanting to get into the faster cars in Gran Turismo, but you're kind of a player that uses assists, and you want to kind of, you know, wean yourself off of the assists, this is definitely a car where you can get a sense of, you know, taking yourself off those assists while driving insanely quick and kind of get used to what it feels like driving at high speed with no assists in kind of, I guess, a more beginner friendly car. And that is definitely a plus point for this car. I feel like if you want to drive a very, very fast car and you're a beginner player, kind of start with these machines, and hopefully kind of all the LMP1 machines will be the same, you know, going forward. I haven't tried them all yet. There's a couple that I've kind of, you know, played with in my time of having Gran Turismo 7, and they've all been okay, but for me this one was the one that I kind of just wanted to go back to, just because, I mean, the way it looks is, you know, a massive plus point. So onto the onboard footage, and obviously we have that kind of like offset cam. It's not straight up on board at the wheel like you would when you're kind of playing. For me, this is like one of my favourite cameras in the, you know, in the game. I absolutely love the view. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is the camera angle where you really get a sense of speed for it, and just kind of see how stable this thing is. And, you know, there's no massive kind of jolts to, you know, catch that steering and such. It just, you know, powers through. I mean, it's smooth as hell on these points, and you can just see like the confidence this car gives you to kind of eat up these corners. It's just, you know, like, again, a massive plus point in its favour. For me, there is no weakness in this car whatsoever. Another thing to kind of note that's kind of a plus side for me, obviously I do a lot of kind of watching my replays back and kind of learning from them, as well as making YouTube videos, and just the interior detail on these models is just, you know, second to none. It's absolutely awesome to see. So if you're kind of a fan of more minute details, you know, as you can see, track maps, all the switches, the you know, the gears at the top near the mirror, obviously the you know, the wheel we've got in this car, obviously LMP1 spec, absolutely awesome. Just I love the, you know, the minute details for the onboard of this car. No complaints in the way that Polyphony have kind of done the graphics for this game out, because it is just genuinely a stunning game. And obviously when you kind of see these camera angles of, you know, cars eating up corners at massive speed, and, you know, seeing all the detail in the cockpit is just, you know, second to none. And for me, that's kind of what Gran Turismo 7 is all about. But like I said, you know, back to the car, onboard footage kind of really showing you just how quick this thing is. No complaints in that department. Like I said, just eating up corner after corner, and that is, you know, the massive selling point for me. So onto the individual sectors. They're up on the screen now if you're interested in that. Obviously a long-term feature. Originally wasn't in these buyer's guides to start with. A subscriber of mine asked for it, and I put it in. So if you do have any more suggestions, just let me know, and I will try and kind of implement them into these buyer's guides if possible. Obviously an overall lap time of 5 minute 45.346, so a very, very quick lap. And to my surprise, we have a new leader for the Laptime leaderboard, the Audi R18 2016, beating out the Toyota GR010 Hybrid 2021 by around about just over 4 seconds. So very surprised at that, because I did kind of expect it to be, I guess, closer to the 2011 model, but now it's pretty much just wiped the floor with the hybrid. So this is the point of my video where I summarize everything up and kind of give you my overall opinion. And if you can tell throughout the whole video, yes, I'm very much a fan of this car. Obviously it's topped my Laptime leaderboard, so I can't really have any complaints. There is no massive flaw or weakness in this car. For a straight out the box feeling, for it to kind of be this drivable and this beginner friendly, is definitely a massive plus point. So to anyone that kind of, like I said, wants to get them assists off and kind of learn in a quicker car, this is definitely a go-to. Obviously I am kind of getting into the section of these buyers guides where I want to cover the LMP1 vehicles and the Le Mans prototypes and such. So that's the kind of chapter we're in now. So yeah, massive thank you to everyone that, you know, likes, comments and subscribes and all that good stuff. Honestly, the support's been absolutely insane recently, and I'm dead thankful for you all. So yeah, hopefully catch you in the next one. Cheers guys, peace.